If you have ever tried to scrape Google for links or images, you may have ran into some of their anti-bot measures. And that's why in today's video, I'm going to show you the Google Custom Search API, which essentially allows you to have Google and the ability to search Google within your NA10. Now, people don't really know about this. I haven't seen this too much on YouTube, but it's a very powerful thing that is completely free, okay, with some limits. So what exactly is the Google Custom Search JSON API? You can think about it as your own personal programmable version of Google's search engine that returns clean JSON, not messy HTML that you have to sift through and find the information you're looking for. The key differences between this and just a regular Google search that you use in your browser is that this gives you a lot more control over what results you get back. And also, let's not forget, it allows you to do everything completely within NA10, which is perfect for automations and workflows you may already have. Now, let's clarify some terminology you might encounter. The first is just the standard API. It refers to any API that adheres to industry norms and allows you to retrieve and manipulate data. But the beautiful thing about Google's Custom Search API is that it's a JSON API, which is great for us because JSON is the data that NA10 primarily uses to communicate between nodes, and it is very lightweight, it's human readable, and it's widely supported across most programming languages. And it's not only just a JSON API, it's also a RESTful API, which most APIs you use in NA10 are. What this means essentially is that it allows for standardized error handling, so a lot less guesswork, and it's a lot more stable under load as well. Now let's talk about money. And the good news is it's free. So you get 100 searches per day, completely free. And that's actually quite a lot. That's quite generous for testing and for small scale automations. If you need more, it only costs around $5 for 1,000 more queries, which equates to around £4 in the UK. So that's roughly half a cent or half a penny per search. And with billing enabled, your limit jumps up to 10,000 queries a day, which is great for larger automations and a lot more volume, which is what we're always looking for. And so to set things up is actually really simple. You just go and search Google Search API. You click on the link and you want to get a key. So I already have an account. All you have to do is just make an account like in Google Cloud Console. If you have credentials for any other Google APIs, then you would have already have this, but making an account is real simple and you just click get a key. So we need to create a project, click create a project, create a new project. We're going to call this one Google Search or whatever you like. Okay, so maybe not Google Search. Let's do it again. Let's not use the word Google. We're going to call it my new key, and hopefully it will work this time. There we go. So there it is. And that is it. We have our key. Click show key. Obviously don't show that to anyone. Keep that in a secure place. And that's the simple setup. And to add that key as a credential within NA10, let's just go into one of these. We want to use a query auth. So it's not a basic auth, it's just a query auth. And there we go. And we click that and we add our credential, just like any other credential. So in the name field, we want to put key, and in the value field, we want to put the credential we just made. And that's it, really simple. And so now that we have our key, we need to actually create the search engine, the programmable search engine that our key uses. So all we need to do is go to this link or search up programmable search engine in Google and click get started. So we need to make our project. We're going to call our engine Cartop. And for these options, we want to be able to search the entire web, not specific pages. And we don't want to select these because we want to be as flexible as possible. Then double check that you're not a robot and create. And that's your engine. And so copy this somewhere. What we're looking for is the CX value. So the engine or the search engine ID. So we want to copy this in particular and save it, but just copy everything and save that somewhere else. So when we're sending our API parameters, we want to also have this as one of the query parameters so that Google knows what search engine we're using. So you want to put that CX value over here, and obviously the name is going to be CX as well. And so that's it for the request. Now, the query is gonna be represented as Q, so that Google knows what we're actually asking, and we can ask it whatever we want. But for today, we're gonna ask cat. So we're just gonna look up things on Google that may be related to cats. We're gonna get a bunch of information that we can sift through. So let's see what we get. So we can see the title of our search, cat, the total number of results. So a huge number of things to do with cats. Makes sense. A lot of cat content on the internet, and it returned 10 different items or sub items, indexes. So we have the link for a website, the title or its title. It took 0.24 seconds to complete the search. We have a bunch of stuff which, to be honest, I'm not sure what it may be useful for. All I'm really interested in are the links, which I can use to enrich data, but you may want to be able to use this for a bunch of different use cases, also images, well, I'll get to that. But that's that. So as you can see, very clean data that we can use with the titles to make it easier to sort things. And that would not be possible with just a regular HTTP request, or it can be, but there's going to be some roadblocks. It's going to be a lot less reliable. And just use this Google API. It's free for a small volume, and it's really cheap as well. Now there's a few examples here, but that was just the basic text search request. So if we're just specifically looking for images, all we do is put that as a query parameter. So the search type is going to be images, and that's all you have to do for images. So let's look up pictures of cats again and see what we get. So we can see we have a bunch of cat related items with different links. So if we take this link, which ends in JPEG, so that's an image, we can see that we have the image of the cats, two beautiful cats here. So I hope you can understand how useful this is. This is very useful for me for content generation, for content creation, that we can plug into our existing workflows to enrich them. Now there are other APIs we could use, Perplexity, Apify. But if you're looking for something more scalable, then Google's search API is exactly what you need. Now there's a few more examples here that I wanted to show you. For example, SafeSearch. So if we're using this in a public facing workflow, then we don't want to return searches or things that may not be very safe for the public, for example. For that, we just add this simple query, safe, active. So that's all we need to do. And that reduces the risk of having offensive content be returned by your search engine. We can also have paginated results. So what that allows us to do is, instead of just getting the first page of Google, we can get a maximum of 10 pages. So a lot more data per request. The maximum we can get is 10. But if we want to get 5, then we can get 5-page results. If we want to get 3, we can get 3. And all we have to do is change this number to 3 or 10, anywhere between 1 and 10. And so that's how you can get a lot more per request. Now, as we saw, the API returns a lot of metadata. So if we want to be efficient and only return results that we really need, like the title or a URL, then we can use this type of request. So what we have to do is add another query parameter where we specify the items we want, like title, link, snippets. For example, we can have more if we want, but that's all we're looking for. And that's just another query that we add. And we want to also add these headers as well. So this value just tells Google to compress the response. And this value just makes it clear that our app supports this type of compressed data, which allows Google to save bandwidth and allows things to, in short, run faster and run quicker. gzip is just a way to compress data between a server and your app. So in this case, it makes the Google's API response smaller and faster without changing the actual structure of the JSON data that we get. Now, this example just shows you how to include or exclude specific sites. So site search, we put the example of the site we want to search here. So we just need to add another query parameter. And this example just allows us to search for things within a specific time frame. So it's a date restricted search. And the query that we need to add to this is just date restrict and the number of days that we want to have our search be within. So in this example, if we look up recent updates in AI for content generation, then we can have all the results be from within 7 days. So all of these results are from within 7 days, and we just get the latest up-to-date information. And so that's it. I hope this has been useful to show you what Google Search API is capable of and what things you can use it for, some useful use cases. And I hope you run off with it and make some amazing workflows. I've been using it for data enrichment, so lead enrichment, and I will make another video about that in the future. There's a little guide here as well that you could use to get started. But yeah, hope that's been helpful. Thanks for watching. Take care.